Well, here we are. I thought I'd snap off a few pictures of this. This is something I've used for a few years now. A friend had came over, and I usually keep it quite hidden. I never bust it out unless it's just me and Antonio were in the garage or something, or working on a bench. I hardly ever bring it out to the tracks. In fact, I never even bring it out to the tracks, except for like the big races. This is what's called a Tweek Board. And if you guys have ever seen some of these for on-road, you'll know what I'm talking about. But this is probably something not usually seen for most off-roaders. In fact, it's not even really used. Although I know it's helped my driving almost immensely, like changed it overnight. So I've kept it a little bit more of a secret for me. Anyway, as you can see, it checks the balance and the tweak of the chassis. Oval guys use this to their advantage a lot. So in other words, if they'll set their shocks on one side, being on this side really, for oval guys, they'll set their shock balance or bias, so because they only turn they go in an oval, so they have to set their spring rates. Well, for off-road, it's kind of like the same thing, but you want the car to switch evenly and jump evenly and things like that. Oh, by the way, that's one of our monstrous P5s, the one that keeps smoking everybody else's. I know, it's kind of funny, huh? Anyway, how it works is pretty simple. There's a set of bushings, or a bearing, so you can see there's nothing underneath it. And it actually, you can set the tweak of the chassis. So, in other words, unlike a lot of the pros and stuff where they'll probably get all their shocks and springs where they're exactly the same, the rest of us mere mortals, I'm just kidding, but sometimes you'll get one or two, it's like where maybe it might be 5 pounds, 8 ounces, and it might be like 5 pounds, 4 ounces. Heaven forbid, like any of the other pro drivers, they'll probably make sure that theirs are always the same, or they're either be in pounds and ounces, or in the amount of coils. One might be like 30 coils, and then 20 coils or something like that, and they'll go by the gauge of the wire. In any case, this will make sure that it's like, no matter, even though you might be set here, the tension on the springs might be different. So this is one of those things. I've made a few of these. Sold about, I don't know, I got to double check, about 50 or 55 of these. But I use them on the buggy, and I use them on the truggy. Being an older guy like myself, I need all the help I can get. So I use these, and someone had came over and snapped off a few shots, so I figured, you know what, I might as well get over there and post one before it actually becomes more public, or publicly known, that, wow, one of Blade's tips and tricks, and one of his secrets is a tweek board like they actually use in on-road. So, but it does help. It's helped a lot. And then, like I said, this is used for the front. This helps to make sure that your front is level. So you'll adjust it by over here. That way you'll know the front is level. And then when you go to set your tweak, like mine happens to be, I usually check it every time after I run, like when I rebuild the car. And as you can see, I was getting ready for a couple of upcoming races. I haven't raced, it's what, closing in on the end of June. I haven't raced for a while. We've been off. We've gone to other places. We just got back from our trip. We're out for a little while. So I figured, well, I'm gonna race my cars again. Anyway, we make them for that center bar. is what we use. There's two of them, one for a buggy, one for a truggy. And as you can see, I don't know how well my camera really picks up all the stuff, but you can actually see it sits off, just like on-road. The on-road guys use this. I started getting all into these way back when I used to dabble in on-road. And here's going back. I used to have a Trinity Evolution 10. For those that may not know what that is, it's like, wow, you might have to look that up. So I got into it, and then but that wasn't quite enough. That was 10 scale, so I went to the 8 scale. I had a Serpent for a while, and now I have I dabble in it still a little bit. I got a couple of Mugans, a couple of MRXs with some Kangaroo motors in it, and I do all right. But I like off-road. I like jumping around. So anyway, that's it. That's one of the other products from RGX that some of the other, actually several of the team guys actually have. And they've noticed a definite improvement on their ability for their car. I got to put some filter oil in there. For their cars, they've noticed night and day difference on the Tweek. Once their cars have been balanced, they've been setting it, their cars jump straighter, flatter, stay more hooked up, along with some of the tips and tricks I've been giving to them to help. A little bit here, a little bit there. Anyway, anyone ever interested, let me know. Drop me a line at razorgraphics23@hotmail.com. And also, thanks for the guys that been subscribing. Really interesting. I hope you guys are. I hope it helps. I hope some of the stuff has been useful for your RC stuff, as well as like any machining stuff. If you guys have any questions, drop me an email. I'd be more than happy to help. Tuning problems or stuff, let us know. As well, too, people ask us, like, if I still do the engine mods. It's like, yeah, we, more than ever. As a matter of fact, we've been fixing a lot of the mistakes from a lot of the novice engine modifiers. As a matter of fact, I got some pictures of some other stuff. I can't believe some of the stuff that I am seeing from some of these guys that are actually butchering these motors. It's incredible how much damage that can be done with a Dremel. A good sign of this is when my track over at Revelation is just it's just dropped off. Where it's just people think that they have to spend a lot of money, like with some of these other engine mods. And I got some of them that I used to respect. It's like I just, man, I can't even believe some of the stuff. So I'll show some pictures of that. Anyway, there's a Tweek board, and like I said, they're pretty sensitive. And you can, I don't know if you can see that. I don't know how well but actually levels that. See if you push, and that floats, and that there it goes. And that's where that's how you can set your Tweek. Now you got to make sure, like, your hinge pins are good. If your hinge pins are binding or anything, or they're really tight, it's not gonna work too well. So if you got one that's bent, or you might have some issues. So you got to make sure that these are straight. I machined my own. I got tired of paying the money for it, so I just use hardened steel. I machine them, and it's about 1/3 of what if you go over there and start buying the other ones for the cheap alloy that a lot of the other manufacturers use. The ones that Losi has are pretty good, but I actually use hardened steel. They're a little bit harder to machine because they're hardened steel, but they last, oh god, a lot longer. Same thing for the shock shafts. I've been making my shock shafts out of hardened steel. Haven't had a problem with it. I never had usually any problems, but some of the earlier ones when I couldn't get. I don't know if anybody also had the Losis, the 3. I I had the 3 about a month before everybody else had it too. It was really cool. And I had a chance to use it over at Nitro Challenge in Silver State, and it worked out pretty well. But a lot of places didn't have the shock shafts, so I had to make my own for a little while. So it was kind of a bummer. And basically, yeah. And I'm still running Adam's stock setup. I believe it is. I think except for maybe 1 or 2 things, like real minor adjustments. Like I think like the droop. I think I set mine. I've been playing with mine a little bit, and I think that's about it. But it's pretty much stock, more or less. So anyway, all right. Again, any questions? Drop me a note. RazorGraphics23@hotmail.com. Until then, as Blade here again, just saying, hey, no need to spend $400 on something like that, and a couple $1,000s on a Tweek board when he can actually have it done, and tooling and everything else. And oh yeah, I don't know if a lot of anybody's seen the new engine tooling. Yeah, $55. Boy, you're set. Installs and removes every bearing. You know, copters, RC cars, and get one insert. This one right here. And this one actually works on 14mm and 14.5mm type bearings. Any depth, same thing for this one. Actually, you can. This installs and removes the front bearings without disassembling the motor. Anyway, like I said, there's a lot of little goodies here and there. Okay, all right. Thanks again. We'll see you guys. We'll put up another post in here real soon.